basically using the resources and materials around you, and we have to use it, that's just daily life, but making sure it's still there in the future. So working around minimising the impact on the environment and producing products that continue to use in the future. Ways that sustainable homes will benefit homeowners from the general feel of the home. If it feels nice, presents nice, it's warm in winter and it's cool in summer, people would generally want to stay there longer, so its occupancy rate is better. So people are always going to benefit staying in a home, being a real estate agent, knowing that property cycles, if you stay in a home for longer than a period of 5 years, it's generally a no-brainer. You're always going to do quite well. And even in this type of market. In addition to that, if a well-designed home that feels nice through great design is always going to sell well. And the most important part, I believe, is a sustainable home. If you're building using, as we said, sustainable products and materials, you're having less impact on the environment, so it feels better on you as an ethical point of view. And the last three things is you're looking at warmth through using the direct design and sunlight. So you're aiming to keep the place warm in winter and cool in summer. You're utilising the light through big windows and using that aspect of life. And second of all, you're looking at wind, so cross ventilation. Very important for cooling the home in summer, but also to reduce any damp problems a home may have. People like to open the windows and enjoy a nice breeze, so that adds to the feel. And last of all, we can't water, being in Australia, you have to be very conscious of that. So just using your facilities of being able to trap the water and reuse the water in the most efficient ways. And then instead of wasting on the street. So if you use all those three things, the other two that I first mentioned, generally staying in a place longer, and when you do come to sell it, people do like a well-designed home and they do pay a premium for that. It's going to benefit the owner in all of those ways. I'm an asthmatic myself, so knowing that if you've got a nice warm house, good cross-window ventilation, you're always going to have, I believe, a healthier house, being if you've got less heating devices, there's less germs producing in the home. If there's a cross ventilation, you're reducing the risk of mould or rising damp or any of those problems. Then being asthmatic, you're going to avoid being contaminated by those pollutants. And if you're warm in winter and cool in summer, you're keeping a more constant temperature in your home and your body, so your body's not trying to adjust to great variances from the home jumping up and down at night with the heating turning on and off. In my area, no, because in my area there is very little sustainable homes. We are seeing that through other agents that we're involved with my, I guess, alliance with Share, Sustainable Homes across Australia. So we like to keep an idea, tap almost. We're seeing a lot in Melbourne. My colleague Lisa Roberts, she's got a few sustainable homes that she's having great traction with. We have seen some few homes come up in Sydney, in my core area, there hasn't been any full, I would call, sustainable homes. There's sustainable features that do benefit the home, and that's what I prefer to comment on, in to say that I have seen that benefit by people seeing a great designed home that's utilising the light and the warmth, maybe not to the full extent that sustainable homes can be, but they are definitely selling well, and that's because people walk in and it feels better. So what does it feels better? It's got that light, it feels warm, it's got that ventilation, so there's no smell of being damp or dust or any of those things, and we do get a premium for those properties. Education is a great question, and that's why we started Share. Education is about the key to building sustainable homes. That's the starting point of any change. And seeing that us being the forefront, whether it be a purchaser going in and wanting to do a renovation, or it's a homeowner that currently owns a home and they're thinking what renovations they can do, a lot of the time they'll call in a real estate agent and say, well, obviously we're not going to be here forever, that's the reality of it. What it would be, obviously, something that compromises what we want and what we will sell well down the track. And obviously that's where we try and educate them about the features of feeling, as I like to put it, nice home, and being to the general population is a real good designed home, and utilising those features, plus all the little features that sometimes you might see people forget. Simple thing would be a bathroom on the second floor. So along with telling them the basics, you try and fit in the well designed and the sustainability parts of it, because it's always going to benefit the owner or the purchaser after they've bought the home. A lot of the time the customers aren't bringing up sustainability. It's something that I'm bringing up. And why we're bringing it up? Because of the features from that. And straight away there's always a bit of a resistance against that, because everyone thinks it costs more. Why I laugh is, or have a little giggle, is because it's been talked about for a long time. When I first, I guess, started really being proactive in the sustainable home area, we saw it was going to be happening in 6 months, and we all thought it was going to be happening, and now we're probably 3 years later down the track and it still hasn't happened in our area, or being in New South Wales. It has happened in other areas, other states of Australia, very loosely. But I can see it being a benefit when it does come through, because then it becomes front of mind why people, I guess, would want to do a home in sustainable features, because it's going to be a mandatory disclosure to people when they're selling it. So it's going to be a front of mind thing. And I think people generally do things when it is front of mind. If it's back of the mind or they're concerned, they have an ethical point of view, but unless it's front of mind, they won't action it. We're seeing with mandatory disclosure, it's not defined, and they haven't nutted out what exactly it is. They've been talking about making it disclosed when, in the same as the commercial space, when you sell and rent a property. They haven't done it for rent as far as I'm aware. Other areas definitely haven't done it in my core area, and they haven't done it for sale. Where they're saying they're going to do it, they're going to do it around thermal energy. It costs, I guess, would be the nuts and bolts of it. And that's not looking at the big picture, but it's all about a start in the right direction, and it's about one step at a time. My vision or my passion is obviously real estate and sustainable homes, and I'd like to merge the two and make it more known, and I guess known in the industry. My core areas are Kensington, Randwick, Clovelly and the surrounding suburbs, or the eastern suburbs. I do focus on them heavily, and there's a lot of homes and units. Now, looking what can you do for units, there is things you can do for units to help out, but mainly focusing on the homes. And it's about educating people to have a better idea. And we've got like-minded people that we're all working with together. It's always a great thing to do business. And when there's a benefit of sustainable homes, one for the world, and second of all, just for the individual, why not promote something that's great as that? Share is basically sustainable homes and Australian real estate. We started it up at the early stages when, about 2.5 years ago. It all started at a real estate conference when people like-minded got together and said we'd like to promote sustainable homes and the features and the benefits of that. We started that up and it's been an ongoing project. It's www.share.com.au, so AARESHAARE, and basically it's got features of homes that have been sold, some that haven't been sold, so people can know what you can do, what is good design, what materials can be used, and what does a home look like that's sustainable. And funny enough, they'll see the homes that they think are sustainable and they don't look anything like what they thought. So it's just a well-designed home and seeing the benefits of that.